When I think about the second half, it takes me back, about 40 years. Don't laugh. Before my kids were born, and I was involved in children's ministry at another church and loved it. But when my kids were born, I decided to take a break and spend time and focus on them. And I did that for about 12 to 15 years. But as my kids started to become teenagers, I realized I wanted to get back into ministry, and I thought about youth ministry. And a friend of mine suggested I start an outreach out of my house, which I did. And then when Scott Cassidy became the junior high pastor here at Voyagers, he asked me to join him, and I jumped in, and I've been doing this for, 16 years or so, and love it. For a year, though, I dropped down with Craig Cooper when he first started The Rock, and actually it was before The Rock, it wasn't called that, but he wanted me to do something similar to that. And I thought I'd enjoy that, and I did. But I realized I even like junior high ministry better because of kids being able to take what you say and actually apply it to their lives when children can't do that as well. But about that time, a year after I actually went with Craig, we hired Nate, and they asked me to come back to junior high and kind of mentor him since he had absolutely no experience doing junior high ministry. And I actually threatened him and told him if he quit, I was going to kill him because I didn't want to go through this again. But I knew after the first week or so it was going to be great. And I've really enjoyed it, and the ministry just keeps getting better and better. We've got a great staff. We could use more staff. Hopefully that's what this is about, because we can't possibly get around to all the kids. In fact, if we had one person per kid, that would be ideal, because there's so many kids we miss. But anyway, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, Jim Spear, who's a good friend of mine, came along and was complaining about not being involved in any ministry or anything right now. So I knew he'd been involved in youth stuff in the past. And I said, why don't you try junior high ministry? And I really didn't know if it would work or not, but he's actually turned out to be very, very good.
As Jay mentioned, I've been very involved with different youth activities for about 16, 17 years. And there was a 6-year period where when my kids graduated from high school, I was basically on the sidelines and looking for something to do. Jay had mentioned about the junior high ministry, and he took me to a function where I met Nate, and he suggested that I come and at least try it out. So I came and I tried it out for a couple of weeks. I really, really enjoyed it, and I've been here ever since. I'm just finishing up 5 years with Nate and Jay in junior high. I love it. I love the kids, and not only do I get a lot out of mentoring the kids and being with them and hanging out with them, but I've gotten a lot from learning from Nate, and I'm like one of the junior hires when it comes to learning the Bible and the way that Nate teaches. So it's been a great benefit for me, and I would encourage anybody out there that sees this that they give it consideration, because there's a lot that you can give, and there's also a lot that you'll get from being involved.
Yeah, don't you feel guilty sometimes that you get more than you actually put into it?
Absolutely.
And then sometimes I question my motivation for doing it, but that's one of the benefits.
You know what? They may get a lot out of it, but what we get from Jim and Jay is invaluable. And I just encourage all you men in the second half just to evaluate your life, examine your life, and see if you have some time just to love some kids, because your life experiences, you've raised kids, you've had kids go through junior high, high school, children ministry. You have so much more experience that you can impart to these kids that younger staff members don't have, and you just don't realize what a great difference you make. Jim and Jay, they love the Lord, they love these kids, and they're making a great impact in kids' lives for eternity. So I just encourage you men to get off the sidelines and just see where God has a fit for you, and just plug in, and you will see God do great things in you and great blessings, not only in your life but other people's lives.
Don't think you're too old either, because somebody said once, I think it's a psychologist, that kids will gravitate to the oldest person that cares about them, and that's really true. So you don't have to be a college kid, young college kid, to minister in junior high. In fact, if you're older, you've got a distinct advantage over a lot of the younger staff, not to mention experience raising kids yourself.
We love old people. You are valuable. You can do great things.
Run and tell all of the angels this could take.